Hi friend, do you know this brand? Oh yeah, here. This is the one I was very interested in. Let me check. Can you see it? Check the price. Oh my goodness. It's £139. How much is that in American dollar?
I have no idea.
I'm gonna make it myself. Here comes the calculation. The regular tag price usually includes materials, labor, customized design, and shipping. But designer brands, it usually includes more about branding, retail makeup, and marketing. But what if I tell you it doesn't necessarily cost that much? What if you could make something similar for just like $15 or even as low as $5? So after studying it, I figured out actually I can source everything by my end to make a necklace like this. And I'm quite sure if you compare the details with the retail ones, you won't tell much difference. Okay, let's get to the breakdown of the cost. The most important thing, of course, gemstone beads. I found a multicolor strand, which costs like a little bit over $3, so you don't need to buy every single color separately. And I used just over half, so the total is about just $2 here. You need probably half a pack of golden beads, which is about $1.50. The next part is about findings, which includes jump rings, wire protectors, and clasp. Only a few are needed here per necklace, so the cost per piece is just a few cents. And we need more findings. There are crown beads, extension chain, and beading wire. Since they came in bulk, cost per necklace, pennies. The beading wire needs to be higher quality so it lasts longer. Total cost, $4.20. What about tools? I've had mine for years, so if you're starting from scratch, you can get all the tools under about $20 and use them forever. Handmade jeweler labor was around $30 for half an hour a few years ago. As for shipping, unless you want to mail it to yourself as a gift, otherwise, I guess it's $0. There's another thing. The brand's version is about 18K gold plated, and yes, you could totally update to that finish for about $20 material cost by choosing gold-plated findings and beads. And for me, I probably won't wear it forever, so I'm gonna skipping the real gold. So I think for this project, I saved $191 right over there. Even with a gold-plated upgrade, I'd still save $175 for this necklace. Do you know what's more? With the leftover beads, I can make a bracelet, which costs $111 on their website. So in total, I saved almost $300. Let me get down to the business. To make this necklace, I should start with a string of gemstone beads, I think. I need to take them off the string and sort them first. And look, they have all the colors I may need. Perfect. And the 3mm gold beads are the perfect size, a little more than half of the size of the gemstone. And the next is to gather all my findings and tools in one place so that I can start making. And later you can see how I use these tools one by one. And only one thing to mention is this bead stopper. If you don't have it, you can use just a clip to stop the bead from sliding from the wire. That's what we need. Just to make sure the beads are not running everywhere, I put them on a non-slip bead mat. Let's do it! I try to match the brand's design to keep it more original. However, I found I may miss some of the colors, so I'll have just to do my own. Gemstones are vary, but I think the spirit of this design will remain no matter how. You can see the first row is very close to the original design, and from the second row on is my own management. Here comes the whole thing. Since I don't know how much I need, I just manage it at the first place and see how it goes. Okay, let's do the beading. This beading part is very simple. 1 golden bead, 1 gemstone. 1 golden bead, 1 gemstone. And you just repeat. And I think that's where little girls like to do their own jewelries, right? I have a friend, she has 2 daughters. We have made jewelries together before. Look, the first part, done. And this reminds me how they like making jewelries. And just straining all the beads they like together and see how they form into a piece that they enjoy. You look at their face, they're satisfied. It's looking good. However, it could be tiring though. My hands started getting sore, so I strained them in a different way, like this. All right, I think I got my desired length here, so I won't be needing these ones. Are you excited about this color? I love them. So wonderful, right? Let's set them in place. I put an extra golden beads in, and then you can use that later to cover the crime beads. That's important because it will provide a complete look. I'll show you later. Now I'm going to put this teeny tiny crime bead tube on. Then the wire protector on one side, all the way through to the other end. And put back to the tube. Make sure the tube and the wire protector are close to each other very tightly, and kind of nip this wire protector's end so that they get close together. Now it's time for the scrunching pliers. You see the pliers has 2 notches. One looks like a heart, the other looks like an O. The heart-shaped notch goes first. It creates a dent in the crime tube. Make sure it lays down nicely and comfortably in that notch, and the pliers should closely sit next to the wire protector's ends. Then you give it a squeeze. Here you can see you got a dent in the middle of the crime bead. Next, we're going to use the O notch. Position this crime bead like this. It's kind of like a standing up part of 90 degrees. And when you're ready, give it the squeeze on your right hand. The theory is we use the O-shaped notch to fold the heart into a closed loop. Then you can put some of the leftover wires into the beads to kind of hide it. Remember the first golden beads we put here? We move it up to the crime beads we just worked on. It helps protecting the bead and giving a finished look. A well-made necklace should include these details. You can check your other ones that you bought before. The other side is about the same. The wire cutter is to cut the extra wire. But one thing is very important before you're priming the bead. You want to make sure your necklace isn't too tight or too loose. The beads need room to stay with each other to have a relaxed tension. If you leave too much room over there, you may see lots of gaps. So what I do is I leave 1 millimeter in between the first cover bead and the crime bead. That way I'll have enough room for the pliers to work on and extra room for the beads to move. In the end, you want to hide all the extra wires into the beads. Let it go through a few beads is fine. Then cut the rest. Okay, now we finished the most easy and difficult part of the necklace. Now we use the jump rings to attach everything, from the smaller size to the bigger size. Here I used 2 4mm and 1 8mm. And here's the jump ring tip. I like to open or close jump rings by shifting them outward and kicking them back. It helps align the ends perfectly. Whenever it comes to this part, I always feel, yes, almost done. Besides, if you learn how to do this end, you can apply this technique to many necklaces or bracelets in the future. You can bead anything you want in any pattern you want with any beads you want. Done. This is our $195 necklace right over here. I used the ball pin with a golden bead, made a drop for the extension chain. You can totally skip this part. It's a very basic wire wrapping skill. There are many tutorials outside there teaching this. You can make tons of things with this too. Okay, let's try it out. $195 without tax. How do you think? Does it worth it? Does it worth it? Look at the details. Look at the color. Oh, one thing to mention, I used all the findings in one kind of gold color, which is KC color. There are 2 kinds of gold color, which is KC and gold color. I prefer KC color. It's not that much, but it gives a warm tone. Okay, I finished it. As you can see, I couldn't stop myself. Made another one. And this is white turquoise, which is my favorite color, and a different pattern. And this is the YouTuber that hooked me into this necklace. Does mine look as good as hers? I'm gonna keep the saving going on by making an extra bracelet, which cost $111 on the website. Instead of using beading wire, I use the macrame nylon cord. Just like braiding the regular square knot, I use 20-inch cord folded in half to work on it. The tip of braiding 2 strings together is every time after you tie a knot, you want to organize the cords so that they can neatly lay next to each other so that you have a clean look in the end. Have you ever noticed that when you're looking at your bracelets, you usually look at one side and then you flip to the other side on your wrist? It's not like a garment. It appears as a whole piece in front of you. So here I think wider braids contrast nicely with the thin beaded section. It's visually interesting and avoids bracelet boredom. And you can see this blue one is the single cord square knot braid. I used the reinforced snake knot to give a close to the square knot. Actually, you don't have to do this part to put the end into the clasp later. I started making jewelry about 10 years ago, and my first thing was wire wrapping. But you know what? I didn't know I could do this though. I I remembered in my honeymoon, me and my husband went into a jewelry store, and it's my first time to see the wire wrapping projects. There were a whole bunch of wire wrapping rings with only wires, no beads. And there's a young man who's about like 18, 19, or 20, and he proudly said that he made it. And I was like, wow, he's so amazing. Have you had any experiences like that? I was thinking about two choices for this bracelet end. One is this magnetic clasp. The other one is to use this sliding bead to make a tassel end. I think this magnetic clasp will give a clean and modern look for this bracelet. So let's do that. I usually fill 1/3 of the depth inside of the clasp, then gently squeeze the end inside. Time to wait. Ooh, it's dried. It turned out secure and sleek. I like it. No glue marks anywhere, and so easy. How much will you pay for this? So actually, making jewelry isn't hard once you get hang of it. Even if it's in the beginning, it's not that hard. Brands you see often just repeat designs. Once they have a product, it's mass-produced. Their cost per piece is even lower due to bulk sourcing. I'd like to share more of this content with you if you like it. Will you comment me below? Alright. I hope you enjoyed this video, my friends, and have a nice day there. I'll see you next time. Bye.